Swanky Swifters, it's Prof G, and here is one of two apps students had to build for their first midterm in our Zero to Full Stack SwiftUI University course. The first app is the WhoGetsASticker app. It decides who is chosen randomly to receive our weekly My Mac Builds apps laptop sticker drawing. This is one of two apps they had to build for their first midterm. This was offered about a third of the way through our semester-long course. Students build this in class on their laptops. They have to turn coding intelligence off, and they can't use the internet or pull up older coding examples, but they can use a single sheet of double-sided notes. Anything they put on that sheet is fine. Now, the idea here is to find a balance so that we can prep everyone for coding interviews where you can't pause and look it up or ask AI. You're not going to be a good AI user unless you understand the fundamentals, but I'm not an AI hater. Students are encouraged to use AI in their final projects, to explain code, and as a learning partner. Now, this lesson is different from most of my other lessons since students have learned everything in this solution already. If you want to see how we got here, I encourage you to check our entire ordered playlist. It's online, free for all. Many faculty use this at other universities worldwide. We'd welcome you to be part of our community. That said, let's build. So in this app, the setup is to help one of the leading researchers in the field of information systems, Professor Min-Suk Pung. He's teaching the brilliant Badgers at the University of Wisconsin-Madison Business School. This semester, he's teaching Swift app development for the first time. So we imagine he's hired you as a remote teaching assistant. He's got a pile of the My Mac Builds apps laptop sticker, and he wants you to build an app to randomly choose who gets a sticker each week. The app should allow for the entry of students one at a time in a text field. The plus button adds the name of any entered students. A clear button will clear out the list of students, and the pick a winner button should pick and display a winner from the list of students that have been entered. You can click pick a winner again, and it will choose another random student from the list. It's okay if we repeat. Sometimes you just want to click on choose again. So here's the app. We have a launch screen when it launches. We'll assume Prof P is teaching the cast of Peacemaker. You can see the app recognizes when nobody has posted this week. The keyboard pops up or dismisses, so we have focus working. You see the list of names are entered with commas in between. Click on a winner. It looks like ads won this week sticker. You can keep clicking to find new winners, and clicking clear clears out all the posters so you can start anew. So we'll create an Xcode project called WhoGetsASticker. I've got project assets in our course list of files. If you've been following the course, you know that we've got a folder for all the different projects that we work on. We're going to add an icon and a launch screen and the sticker JPEG. And we're going to start off by adding a text view at the top and large title and black weight. So we'll launch Xcode. We'll create a new project named WhoGetsASticker. We'll make sure we create a Git repository so we can load this to our portfolio online and create. I'll expand my screen, click on the Assets catalog, click on App Icon, and I've already downloaded my WhoGetsASticker files. If you need these, the URL where you can find this was shown in the question. So with App Icon click, I'm going to drag the icon file into the first square in the App Icon. Then I'll drag my launch screen files and my sticker file and drop those into the Assets catalog as well. The files using the name launch screen are what I'm going to use for the launch screen, so I'm going to copy this name. Head to the project settings by clicking on the top, click the Info tab, expand the triangle next to launch screen, click on UI launch screen and press the up and down arrow so that I can change this to image name, then double click in the value field and paste in my launch screen, press return, and I should have my launch screen and icon in there. Now I'll select an iPhone to run this on, and I'll press play to run this in the simulator. We see our launch screen. The app doesn't do anything, but if I click on the home screen, I can see that I've got our icon there as well. Launch screen and icon working. Now I'll hide the debug console, restart my preview. I don't want the image yet, but I do want a text view. This should say WhoGetsASticker with font large title and font weight black. We'll push it to the top with a spacer, and we're done through question 4. Next, just below the text view, you've entered above, add 2 buttons side by side. One should say clear and be pushed to the left side. The other should say pick a winner and be pushed to the right side. The button should both be in Title 2 font and have the style border prominent. They should be bold. The clear button should be red with the opacity of 80%, and the pick a winner button should be green with opacity of 80%. So to get the buttons side by side, we're going to put this in an H stack with open and close curlies. We want a button with title key in action. The title will be clear. Press return for the trailing closure format. I'll put in a comment that says to do action. Then I'm going to highlight and copy the first button, paste it below, change the title to pick a winner. And it's okay to put these button modifiers below the H stack, .button style, .border prominent, .font, .title 2, and .bold. We'll put a spacer in between the buttons to push them out to the sides. And below the first button, we'll set .tint to .red, .opacity 0.8. Copy this and paste it below the second button, but change the color from .red to .green. Looking good. On to the next question. Below these buttons, add the image named sticker from the folder that you downloaded so that it's just below the buttons and it takes up as much space as it can without leading to distortion or cutoff. That's how it should look. We can create the image view in lots of different ways. I'm just going to Shift-Command-L to pull up the library, and with the image icon clicked in the top, I'll click and drag my sticker over into my code, and we can see it writes all the code for me, image with the string sticker inside of it. But friends, that sticker is vast. We know how to fix it with two modifiers, .resizable, .scale to fit, and it's looking good. Now back to question 7. Now we're going to create a value named winning message, and it'll eventually have nothing in there when the app starts, but we're going to put in a default value just so that we can use it for formatting. It should appear just below the sticker image. It should be in large title font and centered. When I recorded this, when I was going through the test, I initially asked you to include it in a container that was 160 points tall, but I got rid of that. I didn't think it was necessary for the UI, and it actually messed up the UI a little bit. So you might see me enter a couple of things that you didn't need to do for your test in here because your test was slightly different. I took away some of the requirements, but the image below does show what the winning message looks like when it's inside of a text view, and it says this week's winner is. There's a new line in there, remember, with \n, you. So in Xcode, we'll create the value at state private var winning message equals this week's winner is : \n for new line. It makes it seem as if it's two lines in there, and all caps U, ! Just temporary text in here so we can see some things when we format. We'll do this just below the sticker. We'll say text passing in winning message, and we'll set .font to .large title, .multiline text alignment to .center. And you don't need the .frame height is 160 in here. We'll get rid of that later on, and my minimum scale factor is 0.5. Now push to the bottom of the screen. We're going to add a text view that says this week's posters are. In the font large title, and the font weight should be black. So below the spacer, we'll add a text view with a string this week's posters are : font large title, font weight black. And we were supposed to center this as well, so we'll do .multiline text alignment passing in .center. Looking good, but first we need to create a blank array named posters that's eventually going to hold the name of all the students that have been added, but it's going to start out empty. So remember how we add a blank array. Up top we'll say @state private var posters : and then in brackets string. We'll set this equal to empty square brackets, and if we didn't set the type with : and in between square brackets string to indicate that this was an array of strings, then we wouldn't know what type of data this could hold. So that's essential. Now below this we've got another text view. Large title default font weight that's going to say no posters this week if the posters array contains no values. Or it should contain the name of all posters separated by commas if more than one poster has been entered. And this text should be centered. So let's head back to Xcode and enter another text view that says no posters this week with a font large title and multiline text alignment in the center. But remember, we want the string inside of the text to conditionally change. We've done this several times before. We're going to put a ternary operator in here. We're going to say posters is empty. This is going to be true or false. Question mark. If it's true, we're going to pass in the string no posters this week, : but if it's false, we'll say posters. And remember how we get an array into a list of values separated by commas. We'll say .joined, selecting the option with separator, and the separator is just going to be in between double quotes, a comma, and space. You can change your posters array to test it out right now, but I'm pretty confident this is going to work, so let's go on to question 12. Now, I do give you an important note in here that says that there could be a bug in Xcode that prevents the preview from allowing input in a text field, but if this happens, you can just launch things in your simulator and everything should work. So push to the bottom of the screen. We're going to want to add a text field and a button with a plus symbol. Those should be side by side. The text field should save any user input into a value named name. It should use a title II font. The placeholder text, when nothing is in there, should read enter name. And the text field should use an overlay technique demonstrated in class and in our video lessons with the gray border of 1 point width so that the border holds its shape even if there's nothing in the text field. I showed my students this technique because I think that the default text field style with rounded border is a little too faint. This will make the border show up better. I also ask you to add the modifier autocorrect disabled. This is good to use with names or any other entries that you have that might not necessarily be in the dictionary. And then to the right we have the button with a plus symbol. That should be in bold with title II font. So back in Xcode, since we've got two interface elements side by side, we're going to add an H stack just below the last text view that we have. In there I'm going to enter a text field. Choose the option with title key and text. The title key is the placeholder text. That'll be enter name. Then we need to create the name variable, and remember this is going to be a binding string, so up top We'll add this with @state private var name equals empty string. Now down below we can add that text value as $name, then add font as title2. And remember, even when we use our overlay technique, we need to include the text field style as rounded border. This holds the text field shape even if there's nothing inside of the text field. If you didn't include that in there, your text field size would jump around when there was nothing in there versus when there is something in there. And then below this, we'll add .overlay with open and close curlies. And inside we'll add rounded rectangle with a corner radius of 5 and .stroke with the option for content and line width. Our content is going to be .gray and our line width is going to be 1. Looking spectacular, easy to see. And we'll add our autocorrection disabled below that. Then we're going to add our button. And because this is going to be a symbol, we need this to be the one with action and label. I'll put a to-do comment in the action, but for the label, I'll select image with a system name and pass in the string plus. I gave you that, but remember, you can always find that in the library. And below the H stack, I'm going to set the font to title2, but I'm going to add a modifier under the button just for the button for .bold. This looks good. Next question, question 13. Clicking the plus button should add the name entered to the posters list, clear the name value in the text field, and dismiss the keyboard if the keyboard pops up. We got a bunch of things in here, so let's head back to the button action field. The first thing we'll do is we'll say postersArray.append passing in name. Then we'll set the name equal to the empty string. And remember, to handle the keyboard, we've got to go up top and add a variable that's got this @focusState property wrapper. This will be a private var. We'll call this text field isFocused, and we only declare it, we don't initialize it. So we'll say :bool, and that's it. We don't set it equal to anything, but then we need to attach this focus to our text field. So down in the text field, we're going to add a modifier .focused passing in text field isFocused. But oh yeah, remember, this is going to be a binding value, so we need to put a $sign in front. Thanks for the reminder, Xcode. So when we click on the text field, the focus will be set using this text field isFocused value. The keyboard should pop up, but also in the button action to dismiss the keyboard, we'll say text field isFocused and set this equal to false. That removes the focus from the text field and gets rid of the keyboard. Now my preview isn't letting me enter anything in its text field, so I'm going to build and run, hammer time, no errors. We start out with no posters this week, but I'm going to click in the text field. The keyboard pops up. I'll enter Chris, click plus, keyboard dismissed. Chris is added to the posters, and it shows up under this week's posters are. I'll add some more, Eagly and ads. Those names are showing up. Our conditional's working great, as is our joined modifier. Magnificent. On to question 14. So we can now set the winning message to an empty string so that the field starts out empty when the app is first run or reset. We also want to disable the clear and pick a winner button if there are no elements in the posters array. So back in Xcode, I'm going to highlight the string that I put in for a winning message and just turn that into the empty string. And I can disable both buttons at once by going to the H stack where the two buttons are and putting the modifier there, .disabled. This will disable the elements in the H stack when the condition is true, and the condition that we want to be true for disabling is going to be posters.isEmpty. When there are no posters, the buttons will be disabled. And look at that, now we see our colorful buttons are gray because we've got no posters in our preview. But build and run, if we add rip in here, we can see all of a sudden the buttons are enabled, they're colorful. Mission accomplished. Now to question 15. When the clear button is pressed, we should remove any elements from the posters array. We should put an empty string in the name value and dismiss the keyboard. And for 16, if the pick a winner button is pressed, we should choose a random winner and update the winning message value so that it says this week's winner is, with the name of the chosen winner in the line below. It should also dismiss the keyboard and clear out the name value. So let's head back to Xcode. And for the action in the clear button, we'll say posters.removeAll. Make sure you got parens after it. Name equals empty string, and text field isFocused equal to false. Dismisses the keyboard. And the action in the pick a winner button should be winning message equals this week winner is : \n for new line, then string interp. Posters.randomElement. Since this might return a nil, we need to deal with that. I'll use nil coalescing with double question marks. It doesn't matter what's after this. I'll just put no one in here, but that'll never happen. And we'll also say text field equals false and name equals to empty string. And now I'll build and run, and let's imagine I make a mistake and add some random characters in here. If I click on clear, I clear out my posters. My name field has nothing in it either. The keyboard is not up, but then I'll quickly add some of the Peacemaker gang, Chris, Eagly, and ads. Click pick a winner. And ads is the winner. I can add Rip, the judo master himself, and let's also add Amelia. We'll pick a winner. Ads wins this time. Let's click on clear. And look at this, we got an error in here. Or at least something that I didn't think about earlier. When we click on clear, we also want to get rid of anything that's inside the winning message. So I'm testing this exam before I'm releasing it. We'll make sure question 15 also asks you to set the winning message to empty string. Then we'll head back to Xcode. So in the clear buttons action, I'm going to set winning message equal to empty string. Build and run. Add Luke and Leia. Click clear. But then Darth Vader wants to use this. We know he cheats, so he enters his name a whole bunch of times. Darth, Darther, Darthy, D. Vader. Click pick a winner. He's always the winner. But when we click clear, the winning message is cleared out. Nice. But again, I'd mentioned when I was looking through this, I didn't like the way the frame height 160 led to squishing up the other elements in the user interface, so I'm going to highlight and delete the frame height 160 under the winning message. We don't need that. We'll build and run, and we'll see the difference now as we add each individual person. The keyboard shows up, but it doesn't squish up the sticker image, which is better. We didn't need the frame for keeping things evenly spaced. The spacer does the work for us. And you can award some stickers to the Peacemaker Gang, or I guess they're known as the 11th Street Kids, and we can clear things out. Buttons disabled, no winning message, and no posters for this week. Everything's looking good. Congratulations if you got this. That was the first of 2 apps on our first midterm. And remember, if you struggled with anything, well, there are lots of lessons in the playlist where you can go back and review if you need to. Continue to hack and come back, because we'll show you the second part of the exam in just a bit.